This is emergency transmission. This is warning. This is confession. I am trapped inside SCP-087. I have been descending for time I cannot measure. Days, maybe. Weeks, possibly. Months, conceivably. Time functions differently here. Stops meaning anything. Becomes irrelevant measurement. I am still going down. Always going down. Will always be going down. This is my reality now. This is my existence. This is what remains of my life. I am broadcasting this because you need to know, need to understand, need to avoid my fate. SCP-087 exists, is real, is accessible, is waiting, on university campus, behind unmarked door, down endless staircase, into darkness that never ends, into descent that never stops, into horror that never concludes. I found it. I entered it. I cannot escape it. You must not make my mistake, must not open that door, must not descend those stairs, must not become like me, trapped, descending, endless. But if you do enter, if you ignore warning, if you open door anyway, this transmission will help, will guide, will inform, will give you knowledge I lacked, knowledge that might help you survive longer, descend further, understand more, before darkness takes you completely, before descent consumes you totally, before you become another voice in the black, another warning unheeded, another soul lost to the stairwell. SCP designation 087, Object Class Euclid, Common Designation, the Stairwell, Colloquial Designation, the Endless Descent, Location Classified University Campus, Specific Building, Specific Floor, Specific Door. Door appears normal, unremarkable, standard institutional door, gray metal, small window, push bar, emergency exit signage. Nothing suggests what lies beyond. Nothing warns about impossibility inside. Nothing prepares you for what waits in darkness below. The door is locked normally, requires specific key. Key held by university maintenance. Key that should never be used, that should remain lost, that should be destroyed. But keys get copied, keys get stolen, keys get found. I found key. I used key. I opened door. I entered stairwell. I began descending. I have never stopped descending, will never stop descending, cannot stop descending. This is consequence of curiosity, of investigation, of believing I could explore and return. I was wrong. I am still wrong. I will always be wrong. Beyond door is platform, small concrete platform, approximately 2 meters square. Then stairs begin, descending, always descending, never ascending. Stairs are concrete, standard institutional construction, metal railing on right side, wall on left side. Each flight is approximately 13 steps. Then small landing, then stairs turn, then another flight, 13 steps, landing, turn, repeat, forever, infinitely, endlessly. This pattern continues, has always continued, will always continue, down into darkness, down into impossible, down into SCP-087. The darkness is absolute, is total, is complete. Beyond first few flights, no light penetrates. Windows do not exist. Openings do not exist. Light sources do not exist. You descend in pure darkness. Blackness so complete it becomes physical, becomes weight, becomes presence. You cannot see stairs, cannot see walls, cannot see anything, must feel your way, must use railing, must trust that next step exists. Usually it does. Sometimes it does not. Then you fall. Then you tumble. Then you discover falling is worse than descending, much worse. Temperature is constant, approximately 14 degrees Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. Cool, but not cold. Humid, but not wet. Air is stale, tastes old, smells of concrete and metal and something else. Something wrong, something that should not be breathed. But you breathe it anyway, must breathe it. No choice, no alternative, no escape. You descend and breathe and continue. This is existence in 087. This is life in the stairwell. This is reality in the endless. Sound behaves strangely here. Your footsteps echo, but echoes are wrong, are delayed, come from wrong directions. Sometimes footsteps echo from below, as if someone descends ahead of you, as if you follow rather than lead, but you are alone. You know you are alone. You must be alone, because if you are not alone, that means something else is here, something else descends, something else shares the stairwell. This thought is worse than loneliness, is worse than isolation, is worse than anything. The crying sound is constant, is omnipresent, is unavoidable, distant crying, child crying, young child, distressed child. Sound comes from below, always deeper, always further. No matter how far you descend, crying remains distant, remains below, remains unreachable. This sound is SCP-087 defining feature, is what makes it horror, is what makes it trap. Because sound suggests child, suggests victim, suggests someone who needs help, needs rescue, needs saving, and you want to help, want to reach them, want to save them, so you descend, and descend, and descend, and never reach them, never save them, never help them, just descend, forever trying. Foundation discovered SCP-087 in 2003. University reported anomaly, reported students entering door and not returning, reported sounds from stairwell, reported impossibility behind door. Foundation investigated, classified, contained, sealed door, restricted access, monitored continuously. But containment is imperfect, is limited, is purely physical. Door can be opened, stairs can be descended, people can enter, people do enter. People like me, people who believe they understand, people who think they are prepared, people who are always wrong. Foundation has sent 4 expeditions into 087, 4 documented descents, 4 attempts to reach bottom, to find source of crying, to map the stairwell, to understand the anomaly. All 4 expeditions failed. All 4 expeditioners were lost. Not all died. Some remain inside, still descending, still transmitting occasionally, still existing in the endless. I have heard their broadcasts, have heard their warnings, have heard their descent logs, did not listen, did not heed, did not learn. Now I am one of them. Now I broadcast. Now I warn. Now I hope someone listens better than I did. Expedition 1 was D-Class personnel, designated D-9047, equipped with light source, with communication device, with climbing rope attached to entrance, descended approximately 75 meters, reported standard stairwell, reported crying sound growing louder, reported feeling of being watched, then reported seeing face in darkness, face watching him, face that should not exist. Personnel panicked, attempted to ascend. Rope went taut, then snapped. Personnel fell. Communication lost. Body never recovered. Face never explained. Crying continued. Expedition 1 failed. Expedition 2 was better prepared. 3 D-Class personnel. Multiple light sources. Better rope, better equipment, better training. Descended approximately 200 meters. Reported same crying sound. Reported same feeling. Reported same face. But multiple personnel, multiple observations, multiple confirmations. Face is real. Face exists. Face watches. Face appears on landings. Stands in darkness, stands motionless. Face has no body, just face, floating, watching, waiting. Personnel attempted to approach face. Face retreated, descended faster than personnel could follow, disappeared into darkness below. Personnel continued descent. Rope caught on something, could not free it. Continued without rope. Communication degraded, finally lost. Personnel never returned. Bodies never recovered. Expedition 2 failed. Expedition 3 used different approach. Single personnel. Foundation researcher. Volunteer. Equipped with advanced technology. With better communication. With specific mission parameters. Not to reach bottom. To document. To observe. To understand. Researcher descended approximately 400 meters. Reported crying sound consistent. Reported face appearing regularly. Reported face designated SCP-087-1. Reported face seems interested in observer. Seems curious. Seems waiting for something. Researcher documented everything. Transmitted constantly. Reached depth where communication became difficult. Decided to ascend. This is when problem occurred. Ascending is impossible. Researcher discovered this. Attempted to climb stairs. Stairs seemed to move, seemed to shift, seemed to prevent upward movement. Each step upward resulted in being further down. Each attempt to climb resulted in greater depth. Physics failed, geometry failed, logic failed. Researcher was trapped, tried repeatedly, failed repeatedly, eventually stopped trying, eventually accepted, eventually resumed descending. Because descending is always possible, is always easy, is always the path. Researcher transmitted for 6 more hours. Reported depth of approximately 900 meters. Then communication lost. Researcher presumed lost. Expedition 3 failed, but provided data, provided understanding, provided truth that ascending is impossible, that entering is permanent, that descent is infinite. Expedition 4 was final foundation attempt, was desperate attempt, was attempt using everything learned, specialized equipment, reality anchors, spatial manipulators, thaumaturgic protections, everything anomalous research could provide. Single volunteer, Foundation senior researcher, expert in spatial anomalies, expert in dimensional mathematics, expert who understood what she entered, descended approximately 600 meters, reported all previous observations confirmed, reported reality anchors ineffective, reported spatial manipulation impossible, reported thaumaturgic protections meaningless. 087 is not space that can be manipulated, is not dimension that can be understood, is not reality that can be controlled, is something else, something beyond Foundation capability, beyond human understanding, beyond possibility of containment. Researcher reported face entity, reported SCP-087-1, reported extensive observations, face appears as human face, Caucasian features, male features, age indeterminate, no expression, no emotion, no recognition, just face, floating at approximately 2.1 meters height, appears on landings, sometimes multiple landings above descender, sometimes single landing, always watching, always following, always accompanying, face never speaks, never moves except to retreat, never approaches, never threatens, just exists, just watches, just waits, purpose unknown, intent unknown, nature unknown, just face, always face, forever face. Researcher continued to maximum mission depth, 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer below entrance. Reported crying sound unchanged in volume, still distant, still below, still unreachable. Reported stairs continuing infinitely beyond her position. Reported no end visible, no change apparent, no variation detected, just stairs, and darkness, and crying, and face, forever. Researcher attempted to ascend using all available technology. All attempts failed. Researcher accepted fate, transmitted final report, recommended 087 be sealed permanently, be filled with concrete, be destroyed if possible, recommended no further expeditions, no further entry, no further attempts, then continued descending. Because stopping is not option, because remaining stationary is worse, because descending is only movement possible. Researcher transmission continued sporadically for 3 weeks. Last transmission from depth of approximately 4,000 meters. Then silence. Expedition 4 failed. Expeditions ended. 087 remains. Forever remains. Always remains. I am not Foundation personnel. Am not official expedition. Am not authorized. Entry. Am civilian. Am researcher. Am fool. I learned of 087 through classified document leak, through conspiracy forum, through information that should not be public. I became obsessed, became curious, became convinced I could succeed where Foundation failed, could descend and return, could explore and escape, could understand and share. I was catastrophically wrong, am still wrong, will always be wrong. I obtained key through contact, through bribe, through method I will not detail. Opened door 3 days ago, maybe 3 days, maybe longer, maybe much longer. Time is difficult here. Entered stairwell, began descending, brought equipment, brought supplies, brought hope. Equipment remains, supplies remain diminishing, hope is gone, completely gone. Absolutely gone. I am trapped, am descending, am broadcasting. This is my existence now. This is my eternity. This is my punishment for curiosity, for arrogance, for believing I was special. I am not special, am not unique, am not different, am just another descender, another voice, another warning. I have descended approximately 1,200 meters, approximately. Depth is estimate, is calculation based on steps counted, based on flights tracked, based on mathematics that may not apply here. I may be deeper, may be shallower, may be sideways in space that has no depth. Cannot know, cannot verify, can only estimate and continue, and broadcast, and warn, and hope someone hears, someone learns, someone avoids. The face has appeared to me 7 times, SCP-087-1, the entity, the watcher, the companion. First appearance was at approximately 300 meters. On landing, in darkness, I shined light. Light revealed face, face watching me, face expressionless, face wrong. I froze, face remained. We watched each other. I do not know for how long. Time stopped. Eventually, I continued descending. Face watched me pass, did not move, did not follow immediately, but appeared again later, further down, always further down, always watching, always waiting. The crying sound is maddening, is constant, is everywhere and nowhere. Sounds like child in distress, child frightened, child alone, child needing help. My instinct screams to help, to rescue, to save. My mind knows better, knows sound is trap, knows child does not exist, knows helping is impossible, but instinct does not care about knowledge, does not accept logic, does not stop demanding I try. So I descend, still trying, still hoping, still believing maybe I can help. This is the trap. This is the horror. This is why 087 works. Because we cannot stop trying to save the child, cannot stop descending toward the crying, cannot stop hoping we are different. We are not different, are never different, are always the same, always trapped, always descending, always failing. You need to understand what this place is, what it does, what it means. SCP-087 is not stairwell that goes deep, is not structure with very long stairs, is not architecture at all, is space, is pocket dimension, is impossible geometry made manifest. The stairs are infinite, actually infinite, not hyperbole, not exaggeration, literally infinite, cannot be measured, cannot be mapped, cannot be descended completely, because there is no bottom, no end, no destination, just endless stairs, endless darkness, endless crying, endless descent. This is truth. This is reality. This is hell made concrete and metal and darkness. Part 2 will explain the face. We'll explain SCP-087-1. We'll explain what entity wants, what it does, what it means. We'll explain observations from my descent, from Foundation reports, from other descenders I have heard. We'll explain why face appears, why face watches, why face matters. Understanding face is understanding 087, is understanding the trap, is understanding why escape is impossible. Listen carefully, learn completely, avoid my fate, never enter 087, never open that door, never descend those stairs. But if you do, if you must, if you cannot resist, then listen, then learn, then maybe last longer than I have, maybe understand more than I do, maybe find something I have not found, maybe, unlikely, but maybe, keep listening, keep learning, keep hoping you never need this knowledge. The face is watching me now, as I broadcast, as I descend, as I exist in this darkness. SCP-087-1, the entity, the observer, the companion in the endless. It appeared on landing 3 flights below my current position, has remained there, watching, waiting, not moving, just existing, just observing, just being present. I have learned not to fear the face. Fear is useless here. Fear changes nothing. Face will watch regardless, will appear regardless, will exist regardless. Better to accept, better to understand, better to coexist with the thing that shares my eternity. The face is human, appears human, resembles human, but is not human, cannot be human. Humans do not exist without bodies, do not float in darkness, do not watch endlessly without purpose. Face has human features, but lacks humanity, has human structure, but lacks soul, has human appearance, but lacks life. It is mask, is recreation, is approximation of human face, close enough to recognize, different enough to disturb, wrong enough to horrify. The face is male, appears male, masculine features, strong jaw, broad forehead, deep-set eyes, but details are uncertain, are unclear, are somehow resistant to observation. When I look directly, face becomes less defined, becomes blurred, becomes impossible to focus on, like trying to remember dream, like trying to grasp smoke, like trying to see something that does not want to be seen. But peripheral vision works better. Side glances reveal more. Indirect observation shows details direct viewing cannot capture. This is wrong, is backwards, is impossible, but is true, is consistent, is how face functions. The eyes are worst part, our most disturbing feature, our most wrong element. Eyes are open, are staring, are fixed on observer, always on observer. Face turns to track you. Eyes never leave you, never blink, never close, never rest. Just stare, constant stare, eternal stare. Eyes are dark, very dark, possibly black, possibly void, possibly absence of light rather than presence of color. Cannot determine, cannot confirm, cannot observe closely enough. But darkness is certain, depth is certain, wrongness is certain. The expression is nothing, is absence, is void where emotion should be, not neutral, not blank, not emotionless, something less than these, something beyond absence. Face does not smile, does not frown, does not show anything. Muscles do not move, features do not shift. Surface remains static, frozen, permanent, as if face is photograph, is painting, is mask that never changes. But is none of these, is face, living face, watching face. Face that exists but does not live, that observes but does not experience, that is present but is not real. The face appears following pattern, predictable pattern, observable pattern. Pattern I have documented. Pattern Foundation documented. Pattern all descenders report. Face appears first at approximately 300 meters depth, appears on landing, appears in darkness, appears watching descender. This is first contact, first observation, first confirmation you are not alone, that something shares the stairwell, that something watches your descent. This appearance lasts variable time, sometimes seconds, sometimes minutes, sometimes longer. Then face retreats, descends faster than you can follow, disappears into darkness below. You continue descending. Eventually, see face again. Second appearance occurs approximately 200 meters below first, at approximately 500 meters total depth. Face appears same way, same location, same observation, watching, waiting, present. This pattern continues. Face appears every 200 meters approximately, appears on landing, appears watching, appears accompanying, not threatening, not attacking, not approaching, just existing, just observing, just being there. Presence without purpose, observation without action, existence without explanation. But pattern changes deeper, much deeper. At approximately 1,000 meters, appearances become more frequent. Every 100 meters instead of 200. Face appears more often, stays longer, watches more intently, as if interest increases with depth, as if you become more interesting deeper down, as if purpose emerges eventually. Foundation Expedition. 4 reported this change, reported increased frequency, reported changed behavior, reported feeling that face was waiting for something, expecting something, anticipating something that would happen deeper, much deeper, infinitely deeper. At approximately 2,000 meters, frequency increases again. Every 50 meters, face appears almost constantly on every few landings, watching continuously, observing eternally. You descend past face. Face appears below. You descend past again. Face appears again. Endless cycle, endless observation, endless presence, like face is checking, is monitoring, is ensuring you continue, ensuring you descend, ensuring you do not stop, do not rest, do not attempt anything except continuing down. Down, always down. I am currently at approximately 1,500 meters. Face appears every 70 meters approximately. I see face regularly. Have seen face 17 times today. Maybe today. Maybe time period equivalent today. Time is meaningless, but mind needs structure, needs measurement, needs pretense of normalcy. So I call periods between rest attempts days, between sleep attempts days, between meal attempts days. These days are probably not days, probably not 24 hours, probably not measurable at all, but help maintain sanity, help maintain structure, help maintain humanity that wants to slip away, wants to dissolve, wants to become like face, watching, existing, nothing more. Foundation theories about face are multiple, are contradictory, are all unproven. First theory is guardian. Face is guardian of Stairwell, is keeper of 087, is entity that maintains anomaly, that ensures function, that prevents interference. Face watches to ensure rules are followed, to ensure descenders descend, to ensure no one stops, no one interferes, no one breaks whatever mechanism maintains infinite stairs. This theory is clean, is comfortable, is probably wrong. Second theory is prisoner. Face is prisoner like descenders, is trapped like us, is caught in 087 eternally. Face appears and watches because has nothing else. No other function, no other purpose, no other existence. Face shares our fate, shares our eternity, shares our hell, but differently. Face cannot descend, maybe, cannot move, maybe, can only appear and watch, can only observe our freedom to descend, while face remains fixed, remains trapped more completely than we are. This theory is sad, is empathetic, is possibly wrong. Third theory is lure. Face is part of trap, is mechanism of anomaly, is tool 087 uses. Face appears and watches to encourage descent, to create curiosity, to generate desire to understand, to make descenders continue seeking answers, seeking understanding, seeking meeting with face, seeking communication that never comes. Face is bait, is hook, is reason to continue, continue forever. This theory is mechanical, is functional, is probably closest to truth. Fourth theory is harvester. Face is entity that feeds, that consumes, that takes something from descenders, not physical consumption, not bodily harm, something else, something subtle. Consciousness maybe, sanity maybe, hope maybe. Face watches and takes slowly, takes gradually, takes over infinite descent. By time descender realizes something, is taken, most of it is gone, is consumed, is lost. Face grows stronger, grows fuller, grows more real, while descender grows weaker, grows emptier, grows less real. Eventually, descender becomes like face, becomes watcher, becomes empty presence in darkness. This theory is horrifying, is existential, is what I fear is true. I have attempted communication with face. Multiple times, multiple methods, speaking, shouting, gesturing, writing messages, leaving notes on landings where face appears. All attempts fail. Face does not respond, does not react, does not acknowledge communication attempts. Face continues watching, continues existing, continues being present without being interactive, like face is recording, is camera, is observation device without intelligence, without awareness, without ability to respond, but eyes suggest intelligence, suggest awareness, suggest something behind the observation, something that understands, something that chooses not to respond. This is worse than lack of intelligence. This is intentional silence. This is chosen isolation. This is rejection. Other descenders report same experience, report attempts at communication, report universal failure. No one has ever received response from face. No one has ever established contact. No one has ever confirmed face is aware beyond simple observation. Face remains mystery, remains unknown, remains unexplained. This is frustrating, is maddening, is eventually accepted, like everything in 087. Eventually, you stop trying, stop questioning, stop seeking answers. Just continue, just descend, just exist alongside the face that exists alongside you. The face affects people differently, affects psychology differently. Some descenders become obsessed, become fixated on understanding face, on reaching face, on catching face. They accelerate descent, try to reach landing before face retreats, try to corner face, try to force interaction, all fail. Face always retreats faster, always stays ahead, always remains unreachable. These descenders exhaust themselves, exhaust their energy, exhaust their sanity chasing something unchatchable. They deteriorate faster, descend into madness quicker, stop broadcasting sooner. Face consumes them through their obsession, through their need to understand, through their inability to accept mystery. Other descenders become paranoid, become convinced face is threat, is danger, is predator waiting to strike. They try to avoid face, try to hide on landings, try to wait until face leaves before continuing. This fails also. Face appears regardless. Face finds them regardless. Face watches regardless. Avoidance is impossible. Hiding is futile. Face will appear and watch. This is certain. This is constant. This is unavoidable. These descenders exhaust themselves through fear, through constant vigilance, through inability to rest while face might appear. They deteriorate through paranoia, through stress, through fear that never ends because threat never ends because face never ends. Some descenders, few descenders, accept face, accept its presence, accept its observation, accept its mystery. These are survivors, are long-term descenders, are those who broadcast longest, who descend furthest, who maintain sanity longest. I am trying to be this type, trying to accept, trying to coexist. Face watches, face will watch. Face has always watched. Face will always watch. This is reality. This is constant. This is what must be accepted. Fighting reality is exhausting. Accepting reality preserves energy, preserves sanity, preserves existence longer, not forever. Nothing lasts forever here except descent. But longer is better than shorter. Slower is better than faster. Survival measured in depth descended is still survival. Face has patterns beyond appearance frequency, has behaviors, has characteristics. Face appears more when descender is distressed, appears more when descender is afraid, appears more when descender is questioning, as if face feeds on emotion, on psychological state, on mental distress. When I am calm, face appears on schedule, 200-meter intervals, predictable, consistent. When I panic, when I fear, when I question my situation, face appears more, appears off schedule, appears suddenly, as if drawn to distress, as if attracted to suffering. This suggests face is aware, is responsive, is interactive even without communication. This suggests face has purpose, has function, has reason beyond simple observation. I have tested this, have experimented, have induced different emotional states deliberately. When calm and accepting, face follows pattern. When deliberately distressed, face appears more frequently, appears closer, appears more clearly somehow, as if proximity relates to emotional state, as if face can approach closer when descender is weakened, is vulnerable, is compromised. This is valuable information, is survival information, is knowledge that helps maintain longer. Control emotion, control face proximity. Control face proximity, control one variable in environment of infinite variables. This control is small, is minimal, is nearly meaningless, but is something, is agency, is power, however small, is important. Face has never touched anyone, has never made physical contact. Foundation reports confirm. Descender reports confirm. My experience confirms. Face maintains distance, maintains separation, maintains gap between itself and observer. Even at closest appearance, even at most frequent observation, even at deepest depths where behavior changes, face never touches, never reaches, never makes contact. This is rule. This is consistent. This is reliable. Why this rule exists is unknown. Maybe face cannot touch. Maybe face is not physical. Maybe face is projection without substance. Or maybe face chooses not to touch, chooses to maintain distance, chooses to observe without interaction, without interference, without physical presence. This unknowns, another mystery, another question without answer, another thing that must be accepted without understanding. But descenders report feeling touched, report sensation of contact, report feeling of being reached despite no physical touch. Psychological touch maybe, spiritual touch maybe, something beyond physical contact, something face does without moving, without approaching, without breaking its rule. Descenders report feeling watched, evolves into feeling touched, into feeling violated, into feeling that face is inside rather than outside, is within rather than without, is part of them rather than separate from them. This feeling increases with depth, increases with time, increases with exposure, until boundary between self and face becomes unclear, until distinction between observer and observed blurs, until descender is not sure if they watch face or face watches through them. This is late stage. This is deep descent. This is what waits for me further down, much further down. Eventually, the face is constant reminder you are not alone, reminder something shares this space, reminder something watches your suffering, your descent, your eternity. This reminder is double-edged, is companionship and violation simultaneously, is comfort and horror together. You are not alone. Something is with you, but that something is face, is entity, is wrongness, is thing that should not exist, watching you descend into place that should not exist. Which is worse, absolute isolation or observed isolation, loneliness or accompanied suffering, unknown or face. I do not know, cannot know, experience both simultaneously, am alone except for face, am isolated except for observation, am solitary except for entity that makes solitude worse. This is 087, this is the stairwell, this is existence in the endless. Part 3 will explain the sound, the crying, the constant noise that drives descent, that draws you deeper, that makes you continue. We'll explain what Foundation learned, what I have learned, what other descenders report. We'll explain why sound never gets closer, why source is never reached, why child is never saved. Understanding crying is understanding trap, is understanding why we descend, is understanding why we can never stop. Listen carefully, understand completely. The crying explains everything. The crying is everything. The crying is reason 087 exists, reason it functions, reason it traps forever. The crying never stops, never pauses, never fades. Constant sound, eternal sound, background noise to infinite descent. I hear it now as I broadcast, as I descend, as I exist. The crying is always there, always present, always below. Distance changes, clarity changes, volume changes, but crying continues, has always continued, will always continue. This is the sound of 087. This is the voice of the stairwell. This is the trap made audible. The crying sounds like child, young child, very young, age difficult to determine from sound alone, perhaps 3 years old, perhaps 5, perhaps younger, perhaps older, perhaps age that does not exist, perhaps sound that mimics child without being child, without representing actual human, without originating from real source, but sounds real, sounds genuine, sounds like actual child in actual distress. This is what makes it effective. This is what makes it trap. This is what makes us descend. The sound is crying specifically, not screaming, not calling, not words, just crying, sobbing. Distressed vocalization without language, without communication, without message except distress itself. Child is upset, is afraid, is alone, is suffering. This is what sound communicates. This is what we hear. This is what drives us. Human instinct responds to child crying, responds with urgency, responds with need to help, to comfort, to rescue. This instinct is hardwired, is evolutionary, is impossible to ignore completely. 087 exploits this, uses this, weaponizes this against descenders. The crying comes from below, always deeper, always further down the stairs. No matter how far you descend, crying remains below, remains distant, remains ahead of you. You descend 100 meters. Crying is still below. You descend 1,000 meters. Crying is still below. You descend 10,000 meters. Crying is still below. Distance to crying never decreases, never changes, never closes. You chase sound that stays constant distance away, like horizon, like rainbow end, like any unreachable point that moves as you move, that maintains separation as you approach, that can never be caught because catching is impossible, is physically impossible, is geometrically impossible. But crying volume changes. This is deceptive. This is cruel. This is false hope made audible. Sometimes crying sounds louder, sounds closer, sounds like you are approaching, like you are making progress, like you are almost there. This encourages descent, encourages continued movement, encourages hope that you can reach source, can save child, can complete rescue. You descend faster, descend more urgently, descend believing success is close. Then volume decreases, returns to normal, returns to distant, returns to unreachable. You were not closer, did not make progress, did not approach at all. Volume change was variation, was fluctuation, was false signal. This happens repeatedly. This breaks hope repeatedly. This teaches you that hope is worthless here. Foundation analyzed crying extensively, recorded crying, studied crying, attempted to understand crying. Analysis revealed complexity, revealed impossibility, revealed wrongness. Crying sound contains frequencies that should not exist together, contains harmonics that should not occur, contains acoustic properties that violate physics. Sound is impossible sound, is anomalous sound, is audio that should not be possible, but is heard anyway, is consistent anyway, is real anyway. This confirms crying is not natural, is not actual child, is not real source, is manifestation, is projection, is something else pretending to be child, or something that is child but also is not child, or something beyond either category. The crying affects psychology profoundly, affects all descenders, affects everyone who enters. First effect is compulsion, need to reach source, need to help, need to rescue. This compulsion drives initial descent, drives first hundreds of meters, drives movement when rational mind knows movement is futile. Compulsion is strong, is overwhelming, is nearly impossible to resist. You must go down, must try to help, must attempt rescue even knowing attempt will fail. This is not choice. This is compulsion. This is 087 controlling your actions through sound, through instinct, through exploitation of human nature. Second effect is frustration. When you realize crying is not getting closer, when you understand distance is constant, when you accept rescue is impossible, frustration emerges. Frustration intensifies. Frustration becomes overwhelming. You are trying to help and cannot, are trying to rescue and cannot, are trying to succeed and cannot. This frustration is maddening, is sanity eroding, is dangerous. Some descenders break from frustration, break mentally, break psychologically. They stop trying to reach crying, stop caring about child, stop moving with purpose, just descend mechanically, automatically, without reason, without hope, without humanity. These descenders last long time, last because they feel nothing, last because they become nothing. Last because they are already gone inside, just body descending stairs, just movement without person, just existence without life. Third effect is guilt. You cannot save child, cannot reach child, cannot help child. But child continues crying, continues suffering, continues being alone and afraid, and you hear it constantly, eternally, forever. This creates guilt, creates responsibility, creates feeling that suffering continues because you failed, because you are not trying hard enough, because you are not good enough. This guilt is crushing, is suffocating, is overwhelming. Some descenders break from guilt, break completely. They attempt dangerous descents, attempt jumping multiple flights, attempt sliding down railings, attempt anything to descend faster, to reach crying faster, to save child faster. These attempts result in falls, in injuries, in death. Guilt kills more descenders than anything else in 087. Kills through desperation, kills through recklessness, kills through self-destruction in service of impossible rescue. I experience all three effects. Experience compulsion, experience frustration, experience guilt, manage them poorly, control them barely, survive them somehow. Compulsion drives my continued descent, even knowing it is futile, even knowing child cannot be saved, even knowing I descend forever without reaching anything. I must continue, must try, must descend. Frustration gnaws constantly. I cannot help, cannot save, cannot succeed. This failure is constant, is repeated every moment, is demonstrated by every step that brings me no closer. Guilt is worst. Child cries because I am failing, because I am inadequate, because I cannot do what I desperately want to do, what I need to do, what I must do. This guilt will eventually break me, will eventually destroy me, will eventually make me like those descenders who are gone inside, who exist without living, who move without being. I feel this coming, feel it approaching, feel it inevitable, like everything in 087. The crying has variations, has patterns, has changes. Foundation documented these. Descenders report these. I experience these. Most of time, crying is constant sob, steady distressed sound, background noise to descent. But sometimes crying intensifies, becomes louder, becomes more urgent, becomes more distressed. This intensification happens unpredictably, without warning, without cause. Suddenly child is more upset, is more afraid, is more desperate. This intensification is torture, is psychological attack, is manipulation. You were managing constant crying, were coping with background suffering. Then suffering increases. Then child is worse. Then your failure is more complete. Intensification breaks whatever equilibrium you achieved, breaks whatever acceptance you reached, breaks you again, repeatedly, forever. Sometimes crying quiets, becomes softer, becomes less intense, becomes almost peaceful. This is worse than intensification, much worse. Quiet crying suggests resignation, suggests child accepting no help comes, suggests child giving up hope, suggests your failure is so complete, child stops expecting rescue, stops believing someone will come, stops hoping for salvation. This quiet crying is most psychologically damaging sound in 087, is proof of absolute failure, is demonstration of complete inadequacy, is confirmation that child suffers because of you, because you cannot reach them, because you are not enough. Quiet crying breaks descenders more effectively than loud crying, breaks through despair rather than urgency, breaks through surrender rather than panic. Occasionally, crying stops completely. Brief silence, few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, never longer. In this silence, you hope. Hope crying stopped because child was rescued, because someone else succeeded, because suffering ended. This hope is intense, is desperate, is brief, because crying always resumes, always returns, always continues. Silence was pause, was breath, was nothing meaningful, Child still suffers, still cries, still waits for rescue that never comes. This cycle of hope and disappointment is designed, is intentional, is 087 functioning perfectly, giving hope, destroying hope, giving hope, destroying hope, forever, until you stop hoping, until you stop feeling, until you are empty. The crying is same for all descenders, same sound, same child, same characteristics. Foundation confirmed this. Multiple expeditions heard identical crying, recorded identical audio, experienced identical psychological effects. This suggests single source, single child, single phenomenon affecting all descenders. We all chase same crying, all fail to reach same child, all suffer same guilt. This could be comforting, could be shared experience, could be collective burden, but is not, is worse. Because if crying is same for everyone, then everyone fails same child. Child has been crying for years, for decades, since Stairwell existed, since first person entered, since 087 began. Child has cried while hundreds entered, while hundreds descended, while hundreds failed, while hundreds died or went mad or descended forever. Child never saved, never reached, never helped by anyone, ever. This makes failure absolute, makes inadequacy universal, makes guilt infinite. Unless child is not real, unless crying is not actual child, unless source is anomaly rather than victim. This is likely, is probable, is what evidence suggests, but changes nothing. Knowing crying is fake does not stop compulsion, does not eliminate instinct, does not prevent guilt. Human brain responds to sound of distressed child, responds regardless of source, responds regardless of reality, responds because evolution programmed response, because survival of species required response, because ignoring child crying is not something humans can do. 087 exploits this, uses this, makes trap inescapable through exploitation of what makes us human. We descend because we are human. We fail because we are human. We suffer because we are human. Humanity is weakness here, is vulnerability, is thing that traps us. Would be better to be inhuman, to be uncaring, to be deaf to suffering, but we cannot be, will not be, are not built to be. So we descend and suffer and fail forever. I have attempted to ignore crying, have attempted to tune it out, have attempted to treat it as meaningless noise. All attempts failed, cannot ignore, cannot dismiss, cannot treat as unimportant. Crying demands attention, demands response, demands action. Even when I know action is futile, even when I understand response is pointless, even when I accept crying cannot be stopped, still demands, still compels, still controls. This is 087 mastery. This is perfect trap. This is inescapable horror, using our compassion against us, using our empathy against us, using our humanity against us, making our best qualities into weapons, into chains, into reasons we can never escape. Other descenders report same experience, report attempts to ignore, report universal failure. Some descenders become angry at crying, become hostile toward sound, shout at crying to stop, curse at child, blame child for their predicament. This anger is misdirected, is useless, is symptom of breakdown. Crying does not respond to anger, does not change, does not acknowledge, continues exactly as before. Descenders who become angry deteriorate rapidly. Anger consumes energy, consumes sanity, consumes everything. They exhaust themselves shouting at sound that cannot hear, cannot respond, cannot care. These descenders stop broadcasting quickly, stop being coherent, stop being human, just angry voices in darkness. then just silence. Some descenders try to comfort crying, speak soothingly into darkness, tell child everything will be okay, promise rescue is coming, promise help will arrive, promise they are almost there. These descenders are trying to comfort themselves, trying to maintain hope, trying to believe their own lies. It does not work, cannot work, will not work. Crying continues. Promises are revealed as false. Hope is destroyed. These descenders break when they finally accept their comforting words are meaningless, are lies, are self-deception. They stop comforting, stop promising, stop speaking, descend in silence, in accepted failure, in embraced guilt. These descenders last longer, last because they face truth. But truth destroys them slowly instead of quickly. Slowly is better, is more descent, is more time existing, is what passes for success here. I speak to crying sometimes, not to comfort, not to promise, just to acknowledge, to confirm I hear, to confirm I am trying, to confirm child is not alone in suffering. I suffer also, I fail also, I am trapped also. This acknowledgement does nothing, changes nothing, helps nothing, but feels necessary, feels important, feels like maintaining humanity, even while humanity is weapon used against me. If I stop acknowledging, stop responding, stop caring about crying child, then I have become what 087 wants, have become empty, have become nothing, have become another face maybe, another watcher, another presence in darkness. Without humanity, without compassion, without anything that makes person person. I resist this, resist becoming empty, resist surrendering humanity. Speaking to unhearing crying is resistance, is defiance, is maintaining self despite 087 trying to erase self, is probably futile, is probably temporary, will probably fail eventually, but not yet, not today, not this depth, still human, still caring, still suffering properly. The crying is central mystery of 087, is key question. What is source? Where does it originate? Is it real child somehow? Is it recording somehow? Is it manifestation of Stairwell itself? Is it something else entirely? Foundation could not determine. I cannot determine. Other descenders cannot determine. Mystery remains, will remain, is probably unsolvable, because solving requires reaching source. Reaching source is impossible. Therefore, mystery is permanent, is eternal, is forever unknown. This unknown is psychologically damaging. Humans need answers, need understanding, need explanation. Mystery without possibility of solution is torture, is constant unsatisfied need, is permanent uncertainty. This adds to all other psychological pressures, adds to all other horrors, makes 087 more effective, more inescapable, more perfect as trap. Part 4 will explain the stairs themselves, the structure, the infinite descent, the geometry that should not exist. Will explain why ascending is impossible, why descent continues forever, why stairs never end. Understanding structure is understanding trap mechanics, is understanding how 087 maintains itself, how it traps permanently, how it creates infinity from finite entrance. The stairs are anomaly, are impossibility made concrete, are infinity made traversable. Listen carefully, understand geometry, understand why escape is impossible, why I will descend forever, why you must never enter. The stairs explain everything. The stairs are everything. The stairs are 087. The stairs are impossible. This is not hyperbole, not exaggeration, not metaphor. The stairs literally violate physics, violate geometry, violate reality. They descend infinitely, actually infinitely, not very far, not extremely deep, infinitely, without end, without bottom, without destination. This should not be possible. Cannot be possible in normal space, in normal reality, in normal universe. But 087 is not normal space, is not normal reality, is not part of normal universe, is something else, is pocket dimension, is anomalous space, is impossible made real. Each flight is 13 steps, exactly 13, always 13, never more, never less. This consistency is unnatural, is wrong. Real stairs vary, adjust for space, adapt to structure. But 087 stairs are identical. Every flight, every landing, every turn, exactly same, precisely replicated, infinitely repeated. 13 steps, small landing, turn. 13 steps, small landing, turn, forever. This pattern never changes, never varies, never deviates, is mathematical, is perfect, is impossible. Real construction contains variation, contains error, contains imperfection. 087 contains none, is too perfect, is too precise, is too exact. This perfection is evidence of anomaly, is proof of impossibility, is demonstration that stairs are not real construction, are manifestation, are something else. The material is concrete, standard institutional concrete, gray, rough texture, cold to touch. Each step is approximately 18 centimeters high, approximately 30 centimeters deep. Standard dimensions, normal proportions, comfortable for human stride. This normalcy is deceptive, is camouflage, is lie. Stairs look normal, feel normal, seem normal, but exist in space that is not normal. Descend into depths that cannot exist. Continue beyond possibility. Normal appearance makes impossibility worse, makes trap more effective. You descend normal stairs, comfortable stairs, familiar stairs. This familiarity is false, is disguise, is horror wearing mask of mundane. The railing is metal, steel probably, standard industrial construction, mounted on right side, approximately 1 meter high, cold, smooth, continuous. Railing is essential for descent, for safety, for guidance in darkness. Without railing, descent becomes impossible, becomes too dangerous, becomes fatal. You feel your way down, hand on railing, sliding along surface, counting steps, feeling for landing, feeling for turn. Railing is lifeline, is only constant, is only reliability in space of impossibility. But railing is also trap, guides you down, helps you descend, assists your imprisonment, is tool of 087, is mechanism of trap disguised as safety feature. The wall is concrete also, left side, continuous, unbroken, smooth surface, no windows, no doors, no openings, just wall, endless wall, infinite wall, wall that continues as long as stairs continue, which is forever. Wall provides orientation, provides boundary, provides reference. In absolute darkness, wall is how you know you are not falling into void, not drifting into nothing, are still in structure, still on stairs, still in 087 rather than somewhere worse, if somewhere worse exists. Wall is comforting through presence, through solidity, through existence, but is also prison, is barrier, is thing that makes space narrow, makes space claustrophobic, makes space inescapable. The geometry is wrong. Foundation analyzed this, sent equipment, sent instruments, sent measuring devices. All confirmed impossibility. Stairs descend. This is obvious. This is experienced. This is constant. But descend into where? Stairwell begins in university building, second floor, standard elevation, approximately 6 meters above ground. Stairs descend from this point. After 50 meters should be below ground level. After 100 meters should be in basement. After 200 meters should be below basement. Below any structure, into earth, into bedrock, into geology. But stairs continue descending, continue having space, continue existing in volume that should not exist. Foundation analyzed campus geology, analyzed ground composition, analyzed everything, confirmed impossibility. At 300 meters depth, stairs should be in bedrock. At 500 meters should be in deep geological layers. At 1,000 meters should be approaching depths where pressure crushes, where heat increases, where environment becomes unsurvivable. But stairs continue, temperature remains constant, pressure remains normal, air remains breathable, space continues existing. This proves stairs are not actually descending into Earth, are not occupying normal space, are somewhere else, are in pocket dimension, are in space that exists separately from normal reality, are in 087, which is not place in normal sense, is place that exists impossibly, infinitely, eternally. The space between stairs and normal reality is unknown, is unmeasurable, is beyond Foundation capability to analyze. Stairs exist in university building. Door is in normal space. But beyond door is not normal space, is not continuous with normal space, is separate space, is pocket dimension connected by door, by threshold, by boundary that should not be crossable, but is crossable, is traversable, is entered easily, too easily. Door should be barrier between possible and impossible, between real and unreal, between normal and anomalous, but acts as passage, as gateway, as entrance to impossible space. This is central anomaly. This is how 087 functions. This is trap mechanism at fundamental level. Ascending is impossible. This is documented, is verified, is absolutely confirmed. Many descenders attempt to ascend. All fail. I have attempted, have failed. Ascending seems possible. Stairs exist going up. Railing guides up. Geometry permits up. But ascending does not work, does not function, does not succeed. You climb one flight, reach landing, feel achievement, then realize you are deeper, are further down, are not where you expected. Climbing up results in going down. This is impossible, violates physics, violates geometry, violates everything. But happens anyway, consistently, reliably, absolutely. Foundation expedition. 3 documented this extensively. Researcher attempted to ascend, documented every step, counted stairs, measured distance, calculated elevation, climbed 13 steps up, confirmed reaching landing, then measured elevation again. Was 13 steps deeper, was further down, was opposite of intended. Researcher tried again. Same result, tried multiple times, same result every time. Climbing up goes down, ascending is descending. Attempting to exit is entering deeper. This is 087 fundamental rule. This is inescapable law. This is why escape is impossible. The mechanism is unknown. Foundation theorizes spatial folding, theorizes dimensional manipulation, theorizes reality restructuring. All theories are speculation. None are proven. None are understood. Space simply does not permit ascending, permits only descending, allows only downward movement, prevents return, prevents exit, prevents escape. This is intentional, is design, is purpose. 087 is trap, perfect trap, unescapable trap. That allows entry, but prevents exit. That guides in, but blocks out. That welcomes victims, but keeps them forever. Some descenders deny this. Deny ascending is impossible. Believe they will be different, will be special, will succeed where others failed. These descenders attempt to ascend repeatedly. Try different techniques, try different approaches, try different strategies. All fail identically. All result in deeper depth. All prove rule applies universally. These descenders waste energy. waste time, waste hope, eventually accept, eventually understand, eventually resume descending because descending is only movement possible, is only direction available, is only action that functions. I attempted to ascend once, early in descent, at approximately 400 meters, before I accepted impossibility, before I understood completely, before I surrendered to forever descent. I climbed, counted stairs carefully, climbed 13 steps, reached landing, felt victorious, then continued, climbed another flight, climbed several flights, climbed feeling hope, climbed believing escape, then stopped to assess, used measuring equipment, calculated depth, was at 600 meters, had climbed for 10 minutes, had ascended multiple flights, was 200 meters deeper, had descended while climbing, had gone down while going up. This broke something inside, broke hope, broke belief, broke resistance, accepted then, accepted completely, accepted forever, never attempted ascending again, never will attempt, never will waste energy on impossibility, just descend, only descend, always descend. This is only option, this is only possibility, this is only action that works. The stairs have no features, no markings, no variations, no anything, just stairs and landings and turns, endlessly repeated, without change, without variety, without anything to distinguish one flight from another. This sameness is maddening, is disorienting, is psychologically damaging. You descend for hours, for days, for weeks. Everything looks identical. Everything feels identical. Everything is identical. No progress is visible. No advancement is apparent. No change confirms movement. You descend but cannot prove descent. You move but cannot demonstrate movement. You exist but cannot confirm existence. This uncertainty is existential horror, is question of reality itself. Are you actually descending, or walking in place, or experiencing time loop, or already dead and this is hell? Cannot know, cannot verify, cannot confirm, just continue, just descend, just exist in uncertainty forever. I attempted to mark stairs early, attempted to create reference points, create proof of progress, create confirmation of movement, used marker, marked landing at 400 meters, wrote message, wrote depth, wrote date, thought I would see mark again if stairs looped, if space was finite, if illusion of infinity was just repetition, descended further, descended far, descended to 900 meters, never saw mark again, descended to current depth of 1,600 meters, never saw mark. Mark is gone, is lost, is somewhere behind me in infinite stairs I will never see again. Because stairs do not loop, do not repeat visited spaces, are actually infinite, are actually endless, are actually forever. This proof destroyed another hope, another possibility, another potential escape. Marking proves nothing, helps nothing, changes nothing, just confirms impossibility, just demonstrates endlessness, just shows forever is real. Other descenders report same experience, report attempting marks, report never seeing marks again, report confirmation of infinity through failed marking. This is consistent, is universal, is shared experience. We all learn same lesson, all confirm same horror, all prove to ourselves what we already knew, that 087 is endless, that descent is infinite, that escape is impossible. Learning through experience is worse than knowing theoretically, is personal proof, is individual confirmation, is your own demonstration of your own imprisonment, cannot deny, cannot rationalize, cannot hope, just know, just accept, just continue anyway. The stairs occasionally have anomalies, small variations, rare occurrences. These anomalies are worse than consistency, are breaks in pattern, are changes in sameness, are moments when stairs are different, wrong differently, impossible differently. Most common anomaly is missing step. Flight has 12 steps instead of 13. One step is absent, is skipped, is not there. This creates stumble, creates fall, creates injury. You count steps automatically. Expect 13, receive 12. Your foot finds air instead of concrete. You fall, you tumble, you hurt. Missing step is dangerous, is trap within trap, is additional hazard in hazardous space. Sometimes landing is wrong size, too large, too small, different shape. You reach landing expecting small, square platform. Find large space, or tiny space, or triangular space. Wrongness is disorienting, is frightening, is reminder that stairs are not real, are not normal, are not bound by rules, can change, can vary, can be different. If stairs can be different, what else can be different? Can stairs disappear? Can you fall into void? Can space collapse? These questions arise with each anomaly, create new fears, create new anxieties, create new horrors beyond existing horrors. Rarely, very rarely, there is no landing. Stairs continue without landing. 13 steps, then 13 more. Without turn, without platform, just continuous descent, straight down. This is most disturbing anomaly. Breaks pattern completely, creates uncertainty, creates fear that pattern will never return, that stairs will continue straight, that turns will never come again, that something fundamental has changed, that 087 has shifted, has become different, has evolved into worse form. These continuous descents eventually end. Landing returns, turn returns, pattern returns. But while continuous descent lasts, terror is absolute, is complete, is overwhelming. I have experienced 5 anomalies, 5 breaks in pattern, 5 moments of wrongness. First was missing step at 600 meters. I fell, tumbled 4 steps, bruised badly, learned to count more carefully. Second was oversized landing at 800 meters. Landing was 3 meters square instead of 2. Felt vast, felt empty, felt wrong, stood in center, felt exposed, felt vulnerable, continued quickly. Third was missing landing at 1,000 meters. Stairs continued straight for 39 steps, 3 flights without turn. Was terrified. Thought pattern broken forever. Then landing returned. Relief was profound. Fourth was undersized landing at 1,300 meters. Landing was 1 meter square. Could barely stand. Could barely turn. Felt compressed. Felt crushed. Continued desperately. Fifth was yesterday. Maybe yesterday. Landing was not square, was triangle. 3 walls instead of 2. Geometry was wrong. Space was wrong. Everything was wrong. Stood confused. Continued anyway, because continuing is only option, always only option, forever only option. These anomalies prove stairs are not static, are not fixed, are not permanent, can change, can vary, can be different. This proof is terrifying. If stairs can they change worse? Can steps disappear completely? Can stairs become too steep to descend? Can space collapse into nothing? Can 087 stop being traversable space and become something else? Something worse? These possibilities haunt. These questions torment. These fears accompany every step, every landing, every turn. Because if anomaly can happen, anything can happen. Anything might happen. Anything will happen eventually. Given infinite descent, given infinite time, given forever, everything possible will occur, including things that should not be possible, including changes that should not exist, including transformations that make current horror seem mild. Part 5 will explain psychological effects. We'll explain what descent does to mind, what darkness does to perception, what forever does to sanity. We'll explain how descenders break, how I am breaking, how breaking is inevitable. Understanding psychological effects is understanding cost of 087, is understanding price of imprisonment, is understanding what you lose beyond freedom, beyond life, beyond hope. You lose self, lose mind, lose humanity. This loss is gradual, is incremental, is ongoing. I am losing currently, am diminishing currently, am becoming less currently. Listen carefully. Understand what waits. Understand what you become. Understand why warning is necessary. I am losing myself. This is not metaphor, not exaggeration, not dramatic expression. I am literally losing parts of what made me person, made me individual, made me me. The loss is gradual, is subtle, is incremental. Each day I am slightly less. Each depth I am slightly diminished. Each moment removes something small, something barely noticeable, something that seems unimportant, until accumulation of small losses becomes massive loss, total loss, complete loss. I am becoming empty, am becoming nothing, am becoming what 087 makes of everyone. Eventually, inevitably, absolutely, memory is first casualty, first thing lost, first thing erased. I cannot remember my name. Not fully, not certainly. I think it started with M, maybe, or N, or neither. Memory is unclear, is uncertain, is gone. I cannot remember my age. Was I 30, 20, 40? Do not know, cannot recall, is lost, cannot remember where I lived. What city, what country, what continent? Geography is gone, is erased, is meaningless anyway. Only geography that matters now is depth. Only location is current flight. Only place is 087. Everything before is fading, is becoming less real, is being replaced by stairwell, by darkness, by descent. I remember I had family, remember this fact, but cannot remember faces, cannot remember names, cannot remember relationships. Had parents maybe, had siblings possibly, had partner perhaps. These relationships existed, this is known, but details are gone, are lost, are erased by time and darkness and descent. I try to hold memories, try to preserve them, try to keep them real, but trying makes them fade faster, makes them dissolve quicker, makes them disappear completely, like trying to hold smoke, like trying to grasp water, like trying to keep something that wants to be gone, that needs to be gone, that is already gone. Work is forgotten, profession is lost, purpose is erased. I had job, did something, was something. This knowledge remains. But what job? What profession? What purpose? Cannot remember, cannot recall, cannot access. Was I doctor? Was I teacher? Was I something else entirely? Do not know, will never know, cannot ever recover this. Brain has released this information, has deleted this data, has made room for different knowledge, for stairwell knowledge, for descent knowledge, for 087 knowledge. Old information is replaced. Old memories are overwritten. Old self is erased to make space for descending self, for imprisoned self, for nothing self. Time perception fails early, fails completely, fails permanently. How long have I been descending? Days, weeks, months, years? Cannot know, cannot calculate, cannot determine. Time is measured in depths now, in flights descended, in landings passed. But these measurements are meaningless, are arbitrary, are not time, just distance, just movement, just descent. Real time is gone, is irrelevant, is concept that does not apply here. 087 exists outside time, exists in eternal present, exists in moment that never ends, never changes, never progresses. I descend forever, have always descended, will always descend. Past and future collapse into eternal now, into infinite present, into timeless existence. Sleep becomes irregular, becomes strange, becomes wrong. Needs sleep, must sleep, cannot function without sleep. But sleeping in 087 is dangerous, is vulnerable, is moment when control is lost. I sleep on landings, small uncomfortable sleep, brief unconscious periods, never deep, never restful, never restorative, just cessation of consciousness, temporary shutdown, minimal rest, then wake, continue descending, sleep again later. This pattern continues, has no regularity, has no schedule, sleep when exhausted, wake when able, continue always. Time between sleep periods is unknown, cannot be measured, cannot be tracked, is sometimes long, is sometimes short, is always uncertain. Dreams are worse than waking, much worse. Dreams are twisted, are wrong, are contaminated by 087. I dream of stairs, always stairs. Dream of descending, always descending. Dream of darkness, always darkness. Dreams offer no escape, no relief, no variety, just continuation of waking horror in unconscious state. Sometimes dream of reaching bottom, of finding crying child, of completing rescue. These dreams are worst, are cruelest, because wake to reality, wake to truth, wake to confirmation that dream was lie, that bottom does not exist, that child cannot be saved, that hope was false. These dreams are torture, are psychological attack, are 087 invading even unconscious mind, even private thoughts, even last refuge. Hunger and thirst persist. Body still needs, still demands, still requires. I brought supplies, brought food, brought water. Supplies are diminishing, are running low, are eventually gone. What happens then? Do I starve? Do I die? Or does 087 sustain? Does anomaly provide? Does Stairwell keep me alive to descend forever? Cannot know. Will know eventually. Will learn when supplies end. When body demands what I cannot provide. When survival requires what I do not have. This knowledge approaches. This moment comes. This crisis is inevitable. Some descenders report not needing food, not needing water, not needing anything physical. Report that 087 sustains them, keeps them alive, keeps them descending, keeps them suffering without relief of death, without mercy of starvation, without escape through physical failure. These reports are uncertain, are unverified, are possibly mad ravings, or possibly truth, possibly what awaits me, possibly what I become. Body that does not need, does not starve, does not die, just descends, forever, undying, unending, eternal. This possibility is more horrifying than death, is worse than starvation, is continuation without possibility of ending, is trapped in flesh that cannot fail, cannot die, cannot stop, forever. Identity dissolves slowly, constantly, inevitably. I was person, had personality, had preferences, had opinions, had characteristics that made me individual, made me unique, made me different from others. These characteristics are fading, are becoming less distinct, are blending into nothing. Preferences do not matter. No choices exist. No options are available. Just descend. Always descend. Only descend. Opinions are irrelevant. Nothing to have opinions about. Nothing to judge. Nothing to evaluate. Just stairs. Always stairs. Only stairs. Personality requires social interaction, requires other people, requires context. None of these exist. Just isolation. Just darkness. Just descent. Personality dissolves without reinforcement, without expression, without use. I am becoming generic, am becoming template, am becoming standard descender without distinguishing features, without unique characteristics, without anything that makes me me rather than anyone. This transformation is gradual, is subtle, is incomplete yet, still have some identity, still have some self, still have some me, but less each day, less each depth, less each moment. Eventually we'll have none. We'll be empty. We'll be vessel that descends, body that moves, nothing that exists. This is future. This is inevitable. This is what 087 does. Makes everyone the same. Makes everyone nothing. Makes everyone into descending things without identity, without self, without humanity. Emotions flatten, become less intense, become less real, become less felt. Fear was strong initially, was overwhelming, was constant. Now fear is background, is accepted, is incorporated into existence, not gone, just normalized, just constant enough to become baseline. Sadness was profound initially, grief for lost life, lost freedom, lost everything. Now sadness is just state, just existing condition, just how being feels, not intense, just present, just constant, just normal. Hope was desperate initially, hope for escape, hope for rescue, hope for something. Now hope is gone, completely gone, absolutely gone, replaced by acceptance, by resignation, by surrender to forever. Even suffering becomes normalized, becomes baseline, becomes just existence. Initially suffered intensely, suffered consciously, suffered with awareness. Now suffering is just being, is just existing, is just state of reality, not fighting suffering, not resisting suffering, not even noticing suffering most times, just suffering quietly, constantly, forever. This normalization is mercy and horror simultaneously. Mercy because intense suffering is unbearable. Horror because normalized suffering suggests humanity is gone, suggests capacity to feel is lost, suggests something fundamental is broken, broken permanently, broken completely, broken into nothing. Thoughts become repetitive, become circular, become loops. Think about stairs, about descent, about 087. These thoughts repeat, cycle, return. Cannot think new thoughts, cannot generate new ideas, cannot process novel concepts. Just return to same thoughts, same observations, same conclusions. Mind is wearing grooves, is creating ruts, is limiting itself to paths already traveled, to thoughts already thought, to conclusions already reached. This limitation is loss, is diminishment, is reduction of mental capacity, of cognitive function, of thinking ability. Mind is breaking, is failing, is becoming less, slowly, gradually, inevitably. Language degrades, vocabulary shrinks, expression becomes limited. Initially could articulate complex thoughts, could express nuanced feelings, could communicate effectively. Now words are harder, sentences are simpler, expression is limited. This broadcast is effort, is struggle, is pushing against degradation, fighting against loss, resisting against erosion. How much longer can I maintain this? How much longer can I speak coherently? How much longer before language fails completely? Before I am silent? Before I am just descending thing without words, without communication, without ability to warn? This moment approaches. This silence comes. This loss is inevitable. Social instincts fail. Initially wanted contact, wanted communication, wanted connection, spoke to face hoping for response, spoke to crying, hoping for acknowledgement, spoke to myself hoping for something. Now speaking is harder. Connection is less needed. Isolation is accepted. Social instincts require social context, require other people, require society. None exist here. Just isolation, just alone, just separated from everything human. Instincts adapt. adjust, accept. Stop demanding what cannot exist. Stop needing what cannot be had. Stop wanting what cannot be found. This adaptation is survival mechanism, is coping strategy, is way to continue, but is also loss, is erosion of humanity, is becoming less social, less connected, less human, more thing, more object, more nothing. The face affects me differently now. Initially was terrified, was disturbed, was horrified by presence. Now face is familiar, is expected, is normal. Face appears, I acknowledge. Continue descending. Face is companion now. Only companion. Only other presence. Only thing that shares space. This familiarity is wrong, is backwards, is symptom of breakdown, should not accept face, should not normalize presence, should not feel companionship with incomprehensible entity, but do anyway, cannot help it, cannot resist it, cannot maintain appropriate fear. Fear requires energy. Energy is limited. Cannot waste energy on constant fear. Must accept, must adapt, must normalize, even when normalization is symptom of breaking, of failing, of becoming less human. Sometimes cannot remember why I entered, cannot recall motivation, cannot access reason. Why did I open door? Why did I descend? What did I hope to achieve? These questions have no answers. Answers are lost, are forgotten, are erased. Just know I am here, am descending, will always descend. The why is gone, the before is gone, the reason is gone. Only present remains. Only descent remains. Only 087 remains. This loss of motivation is loss of narrative, is loss of story, is loss of meaning. Existence becomes pure action without reason, pure movement without purpose, pure continuation without cause. This meaningless existence is form of death, is death of purpose, is death of meaning, is death of everything except physical continuation. Body lives, mind dies, self dissolves. Nothing remains except descending thing, thing that was person, thing that is becoming nothing. Foundation expeditions report similar degradation, report similar losses, report similar transformations. All descenders experience this. All undergo this. All become this. Process is inevitable, is universal, is what 087 does. Takes person, removes components, erases identity, destroys humanity, leaves shell, leaves descender, leaves nothing with feet that move. This is not slow death, is slow erasure, is slow transformation from something into nothing, from person into object, from human into thing. Body survives, consciousness continues, but person is gone, is erased, is lost, forever lost, permanently lost, completely lost. I am further along than I want to admit, am more erased than I want to acknowledge, am less person than I pretend to be. This broadcast is evidence of remaining capacity, remaining humanity, remaining something, but capacity diminishes, humanity erodes, something becomes nothing. How much longer can I maintain this? How much longer can I be enough to warn? How much longer before I am too far gone, too erased, too nothing? Do not know, cannot know, but feel it coming, feel it approaching, feel it inevitable, like everything in 087. Part 6 will explain what lies deeper, what waits below, what changes occur at extreme depths. Will explain reports from deep descenders, from those who went further than I have, from those who descended beyond where I am, from those who found new horrors, new transformations, new impossibilities. Understanding deep descent is understanding final stages, is understanding ultimate fate, is understanding what I become, what you would become, what everyone becomes, eventually, inevitably, forever. Listen carefully, understand completely, avoid my fate, never enter 087. Never begin descent. Never become descending thing. Never become nothing. Please, remember this warning. Remember what you heard. Remember me while I still exist enough to be remembered. Soon I will not. Soon I will be gone. Soon I will be just movement in darkness. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just nothing. There are others below me. Other descenders. Other trapped. Other lost. I hear them sometimes, distant sounds, faint broadcasts, fragmentary transmissions, voices from depths I have not reached, will not reach for time I cannot measure, but will reach eventually, will arrive at their depths, will become what they are, will experience what they experience, will understand what they understand. This knowledge is certainty, is prophecy, is preview of my future. Their present is my future. Their depth is my destination. Their state is my fate. Deepest confirmed transmission is from 7,000 meters. Descender designation lost. Identity gone. Just voice. Just broadcast. Just warning from impossible depth. 7 kilometers below entrance. 7,000 meters of descent. Years of descending maybe. Decades possibly. Lifetime conceivably. This descender is barely coherent, barely human, barely anything. Transmission is broken, is fragmented, is barely language, just sounds, just words occasionally, just meaning fragments. This descender is what I become, what everyone becomes, given enough depth, given enough time, given enough descent, complete erasure, total loss, absolute nothing, but still descending. Still moving, still continuing, forever. The 7,000-meter descender reports changes, reports impossibilities beyond current impossibilities, reports that stairs are different, are wrong differently, are transformed. Steps are not concrete anymore, are something else. Something organic maybe, something living possibly, something that moves, something that breathes, something that is not structure, is not architecture, is something else entirely. Description is unclear, is incoherent, is mad rambling maybe, or accurate description of indescribable thing, cannot determine, but message is clear. Stairs change at depth, change fundamentally, change into something worse. Another descender at 5,000 meters reports face behavior changes. Reports SCP-087-1 appears constantly. Appears on every landing. Appears multiple times between landings. Appears in ways that should not be possible. Multiple faces. Many faces. Swarm of faces. All watching. All identical. All impossible. This descender is terrified, is barely managing, is close to breaking completely. Reports that faces are closing in, are getting nearer, are approaching despite never approaching, are surrounding despite maintaining distance. Geometry of approach is wrong, is impossible, is maddening. This descender will break soon, will stop broadcasting soon, will become silent soon, then will just be another descending thing, another nothing in darkness, another presence that once was person. At 3,000 meters, different descender reports the crying changes. Report sound is different, is not child anymore, is something pretending to be child. Pretense is failing, is breaking, is revealing. Sound contains elements that should not exist, contains tones that are not human, contains frequencies that are not child, contains wrongness that increases with depth. This descender understands now, understands crying is lure, is trap, is not victim needing rescue, is predator using bait, is 087 calling, drawing, pulling, using compassion as chain, using empathy as prison, using humanity as trap. This understanding breaks some descenders, makes them resist descent, makes them stop moving, makes them sit on landing and refuse. But sitting brings worse, brings transformation faster, brings face closer, brings 087 attention, brings suffering without movement, brings stasis that is worse than descent, must move, must descend, must continue. Stopping is not option, never option, cannot be option. At 4,000 meters, descender reports darkness changes quality, becomes thicker, becomes heavier, becomes physical, not absence of light, presence of something, presence of darkness itself, darkness that touches, darkness that presses, darkness that enters, into body, into mind, into self. This darkness is not empty space, is filled space, filled with something, something wrong, something that should not exist, something that is 087 itself, maybe. The stairwell is not empty container, is not hollow structure, is filled, is occupied, is inhabited by darkness, by wrongness, by anomaly-made substance. This substance increases with depth, becomes denser, becomes more present, becomes more real, until at extreme depths, darkness is more real than descender, is more solid than flesh, is more existent than person. Descender becomes ghost in darkness rather than person in space. Foundation expedition. 4 reached 1,000 meters, was deepest official expedition. Researcher reported all these phenomena beginning, reported stairs becoming wrong, reported face multiplying, reported crying transforming, reported darkness thickening, all confirmed, all documented, all verified. Researcher continued past mission parameters, continued deeper, continued beyond safe depth, beyond return depth, beyond any depth. Transmissions became irregular, became fragmented, became incoherent. Last clear transmission was from 2,000 meters, reported complete disorientation, reported uncertainty about reality, reported questioning whether she existed, whether anything existed, whether existence itself was real. Then transmission degraded, became static, became noise, became nothing. Occasionally broadcasts resume, occasionally signal returns, occasionally something that might be researcher transmits something that might be words, but meaning is lost. Coherence is gone, humanity is erased, just sounds from depth, just noise from below, just evidence someone is still there, still descending, still existing somehow, still continuing forever. Other descenders report time anomalies at depth, report experiencing time differently, not just perception failing, time actually functioning differently, steps taking subjective hours, flights taking subjective days, descents taking subjective eternities, but body does not age accordingly, does not need food accordingly, does not function accordingly. Time dilates, stretches, becomes wrong. Single flight becomes lifetime. Single landing becomes eternity. Descent becomes infinite in time as well as space, forever stretched across forever. Infinite descent through infinite time. This is ultimate horror. This is complete trap. This is prison made of everything, of space, of time, of existence itself. No escape through dying. No escape through waiting. No escape through anything. Just expansion of suffering across all dimensions, across all measurements, across all reality. Temperature changes are reported below 2,000 meters. Not colder, not warmer, different. Temperature becomes concept rather than measurement, becomes sensation without reference, becomes experience without comparison. Hot and cold lose meaning, become inadequate descriptions, become wrong words. Descenders report feeling temperature that has no name, that has no description, that has no explanation, just wrong temperature, impossible temperature. Temperature that should not exist. This wrongness extends to all physical sensations. Touch becomes strange. Texture becomes uncertain. Solidity becomes questionable. Physical reality itself becomes less reliable, less consistent, less real. Body still functions, still moves, still descends. But relationship between body and reality becomes unclear, becomes uncertain, becomes possibly non-existent. Some descenders report seeing things at depth, not face, not stairs, something else, movement in darkness, shapes without form, presence without substance, things that exist but do not exist, that are there but are not there, that can be seen but cannot be perceived. These sightings are fragmentary, are uncertain, are possibly hallucination, possibly madness, possibly real, cannot determine, cannot verify, cannot confirm. But multiple descenders report similar phenomena, report consistency in impossibility, report shared unreality. This suggests something is there, something exists at depth, something beyond face, something beyond crying, something that is 087 itself maybe, core of anomaly, heart of impossibility, center of horror. What this something is remains unknown, remains unexplained, remains incomprehensible. Gravity anomalies occur deep, very deep, below 3,000 meters. Gravity becomes inconsistent. Steps sometimes feel heavy, sometimes feel light, sometimes feel wrong. Direction of pull changes, not always down, sometimes sideways, sometimes up, sometimes direction that has no name. Descenders report climbing down, feeling like climbing up. Report descending, feeling like ascending. Report down, becoming relative, becoming arbitrary, becoming meaningless. This suggests space itself is wrong at depth, is twisted, is folded, is impossible geometry made real. Not just infinite descent, not just endless stairs, but space that does not follow rules. Space that creates own rules, space that is its own reality, separate from normal reality, completely separate, totally separate, forever separate. I am at 1,700 meters now, have descended since last report, continue descending always, have not yet experienced deep phenomena, have not yet encountered deep changes, have not yet reached depth where impossibility intensifies, but will reach, will experience, will understand, through direct encounter, through personal transformation, through becoming like deep descenders, like voices from below, like warnings from ahead. Their descriptions are my prophecy, their reports are my future, their horror is my destination. This knowledge is certain, is absolute, is unavoidable. But something is changing even at my depth, something subtle, something I did not expect. The stairs feel different lately, feel wrong differently. Not obviously wrong, not dramatically wrong, just slightly wrong. Texture is same, temperature is same, everything measurable is same. But stairs feel like they know me now, feel like they recognize me, feel like they are aware of my presence. This is psychological, probably. Is projection possibly? Is madness certainly? But feeling persists, intensifies, becomes more certain. Stairs are not passive, are not neutral, are not simple structure, are aware somehow, are conscious somehow, are something beyond architecture, beyond concrete and metal, beyond physical existence, our entity, maybe, our intelligence possibly, our 087 itself, certainly. And 087 knows I am here, knows I descend, knows I am becoming nothing, becoming less, becoming prey, becoming consumed, becoming part of it. The face watches me more intently now. This is not imagination, is observable change. Face appears more frequently, stays longer, watches more closely. Expression remains same, remains nothing, remains blank. But intensity of nothing changes, deepens, strengthens, becomes active nothing rather than passive nothing. Face is waiting for something, is anticipating something, is expecting something that approaches, something that happens at depth, something that will happen to me. What this something is remains unknown. Face will not reveal, crying will not explain, stares will not communicate. Just wait, just watch, just continue until depth reveals truth, until transformation completes, until I become what awaits. Physical changes begin subtly. Body feels different, not sick, not injured, different. Lighter maybe, less substantial possibly, less real certainly. Like body is becoming less physical, less solid, less actual, not dying, not deteriorating, transforming, becoming something else, something less material, something more suited to 087, more compatible with impossibility, more able to exist in space that should not exist, to descend stairs that should not exist, to continue existence that should not exist. Body adapts, adjusts, transforms into thing that can descend forever, that can exist in darkness forever, that can be nothing forever. This transformation is not desired, is not welcomed, is not chosen, but happens anyway, inevitably, constantly, absolutely. Sleep becomes stranger, becomes different, becomes wrong. Dreams of stairs intensify, but dreams are not clearly dreams anymore. Boundary between sleeping and waking blurs, becomes unclear, becomes possibly non-existent. Am I awake now? Am I asleep? Am I existing in state between? Cannot determine, cannot know, cannot confirm. This uncertainty extends to everything. Is anything real? Is 087 real? Am I real? These questions have no answers. Answers are beyond reach, beyond knowing, beyond existence itself maybe. Just continue, just descend, just exist in uncertainty, in impossibility, in nothing. Other descenders stop broadcasting eventually. All descenders stop. All voices end. All transmissions cease. I hear fewer broadcasts now than before, hear less frequently, hear from fewer sources. They are not dead. Death would be mercy. They are transformed, are changed, are becoming nothing. Until nothing has no voice, has no words, has no ability to broadcast, just continues, just descends, just exists as movement without identity, without humanity, without anything. I approach this. Approach silence. Approach ending of transmission. How much longer can I maintain? How much longer can I warn? How much longer before I am silent like others? Before I am just another descending thing? Before I am nothing that once was person? Soon. Very soon. Inevitably soon. Part 7 will explain my current state completely. Will explain what I am now, what I am becoming, what I will be. Will be final detailed report before transformation completes, before silence comes, before I am gone. Will explain everything I have learned, everything I have experienced, everything I have become. Will be final warning, final message, final transmission before nothing. Listen carefully. This may be last coherent broadcast, last human words, last anything from me. Part 7 is ending, is conclusion, is farewell. Listen, remember, never enter, never descend, never become like me. Please, remember this. Remember me, remember warning. Before warning is gone, before I am gone, before everything is gone. Part 7 begins shortly. Listen carefully. This may be last chance, last warning, last anything. This is my final coherent transmission. Final warning, final message. I am at 1,900 meters now. Am deeper than when part 6 ended. Am continuing descent. Am approaching threshold. Can feel it coming. Can sense transformation accelerating. Can recognize ending approaching. This broadcast will be last, will be final, will be conclusion. After this, silence. After this, Nothing. After this, just descending thing without voice, without humanity, without anything. So listen carefully. This is last chance, last warning, last everything. I understand now what 087 is. Not fully, not completely, but more than before, more than anyone who returned, more than anyone who maintained coherence. 087 is not place, is not structure, is not location, is digestive system, is consumption mechanism, is process of breaking down and absorbing. Stairs are not stairs. Our path through digestion. Descent is not movement, is being processed, is being consumed, is being broken down into component parts, into nothing, into whatever 087 uses, feeds on, requires. We are food, we are fuel, we are resources being harvested through infinite descent. The crying is lure. This is confirmed, is certain, is understood. Crying draws us in, draws us down, draws us deeper into digestion, using our compassion, using our empathy, using our humanity as hook, as bait, as trap. We enter wanting to save. We descend wanting to help. We continue wanting to rescue. But there is no child, never was child, never will be child, just sound designed to exploit, to manipulate, to draw prey deeper into consumption. This is genius of trap. This is perfection of horror, using best parts of humanity to destroy humanity, making compassion into weakness, making empathy into vulnerability, making love into death. The face is part of process, is monitoring, is observing consumption, is watching digestion. Face appears to track progress, to measure breakdown, to assess transformation. Face is not companion, is not fellow prisoner, is tool of 087, is extension of anomaly, is way stairwell watches its food, watches its victims, watches its prey being processed, converted, consumed. The watching is not neutral, is active, is participatory. Face observation is part of consumption, is part of process, is part of breaking down. Being watched breaks us. Being observed transforms us. Being monitored consumes us. Face is digestive enzyme, is breaking down agent, is thing that prepares us for absorption. Stairs themselves are alive, are conscious, are aware. This is certain now, is felt, is known. Stairs know each descender, know each person, know each victim individually. Stairs adjust to each, respond to each, process each differently. My stairs are mine, are personalized, are customized to consume me specifically. Your stairs would be yours, would be different, would be designed for you. 087 is not single experience, is individual experience, is personal hell crafted for each person. This makes escape more impossible, makes resistance more futile, makes consumption more complete, cannot prepare for personalized digestion, cannot resist customized breaking down, cannot escape process designed specifically for you. I know what happens at 2,000 meters, the threshold, the point of no return. Not that return was possible before, but threshold is different, is transformation point, is where physical becomes less physical, where human becomes less human, where person becomes thing. Before threshold, still retain something, still have fragments, still possess pieces of identity. After threshold, pieces dissolve, fragments erase. Identity is gone, completely gone, permanently gone. What remains continues descending, continues existing, continues being processed, but is not person, is not human, is not anything except biological material being slowly digested by infinite stairwell. I am close to threshold, am approaching, am nearly there, can feel boundary ahead, can sense transition coming, can recognize ending approaching. My supplies are gone, ended 2 days ago, maybe 2 days, maybe longer. Time is uncertain, but supplies ended. Food gone, water gone, everything physical gone. Should be dying, should be starving, should be dehydrated, but am not, feel nothing, need nothing, require nothing. Body continues functioning, continues moving, continues descending. 087 sustains, keeps alive, keeps moving, keeps processing, cannot die, cannot stop, cannot end through physical failure. Am kept alive to be consumed fully, to be processed completely, to be digested eternally. This is worse than death, is continuation without end, is existence without purpose, is being without meaning, just fuel being slowly burned, just resource being gradually depleted, just food being eternally consumed. The darkness is inside me now, not around me, inside me. Can feel it. Feel darkness in body, in mind, in self. Darkness fills spaces where person used to be, where memories existed, where identity lived. Darkness replaces everything, becomes everything, is everything. Soon will be only darkness. Darkness shaped like person. Darkness moving like human. Darkness pretending to be me. But me will be gone, will be consumed, will be replaced by darkness. This is final stage. This is complete digestion. This is what 087 makes. Not corpses, not bodies, darkness. Living darkness, moving darkness, descending darkness, forever. Can barely remember broadcasting. Can barely recall beginning. Was there beginning? Was there person before descent? Seems impossible. Seems like descent is all that ever existed. Like stairs are entire reality. Like 087 is universe complete. Memories of outside seem like dreams, like fantasies, like impossible imaginings of world that cannot exist. Real world is here, is stairs, is darkness, is descent. This is reality. This is truth. This is all that is. Was there ever anything else? Probably not. Probably this is all that ever was. Is, will be. Just stairs, just descent, just nothing. The face is here now, is on this landing, is watching me broadcast, is observing final transmission. Face is closer than before, is nearer than ever, is almost within reach. Could touch face maybe, could reach face possibly, but will not, should not, must not. Touching face is ending, is final transformation, is complete consumption. Face waits for this, waits for me to reach, waits for me to touch, waits for me to surrender completely, to accept fully, to choose digestion consciously. This is what face wants, what 087 wants, what everything wants. My choice to end, my consent to consumption, my acceptance of nothing will not give this, will not choose this, will not surrender, will just continue, will just descend, will just let transformation happen without choosing. This is all control remaining. This is only resistance possible. This is final human act. Refusing to choose ending, refusing to consent to nothing, refusing to surrender, just continuing, just being, just existing until existing stops meaning anything, until being becomes nothing, until I am gone without ever agreeing to go. Something is emerging from stairs, from darkness, from 087 itself. Cannot describe, cannot explain, cannot comprehend, is too wrong, is too impossible, is too beyond, is thing that should not exist trying to exist, is nothing trying to be something, is void trying to take form. This thing approaches, this thing emerges, this thing becomes. What it is cannot be said. What it does cannot be known. What it means cannot be understood. Just know it comes. It emerges. It arrives. For me. To complete process. To finish consumption. To transform remaining fragments into nothing. This is ending. This is conclusion. This is final. Not chosen. Not wanted. Not accepted. But happening. inevitable, absolute, complete, to anyone listening, to anyone hearing, to anyone who exists. Do not enter 087. Do not open door. Do not descend stairs. Door is behind campus building. Gray door, unmarked door, locked door. Key should be destroyed. Door should be sealed. Building should be demolished, but probably will not be. Probably door remains. Probably entrance exists. Probably trap continues waiting. For next victim, for next prey, for next person to consume. Do not be this person. Do not be next victim. Do not become like me, like others, like all who entered, who descended, who were consumed. Avoid this fate. Avoid this horror. Avoid this ending. Please, I beg, I plead, I warn with everything remaining. Never enter, never descend, never become nothing. If you must enter, if you cannot resist, if you will open door despite warning, then know this: descent is forever. Stairs are infinite. Escape is impossible. You will be consumed, will be processed, will be transformed into nothing, into darkness, into descended thing without humanity. This is certain. This is absolute. This is unavoidable. Accept this before entering. Understand this before descending. Know this before beginning. Because knowing changes nothing. Understanding prevents nothing. Accepting saves nothing. But at least you know. At least you understand. At least you cannot claim ignorance, cannot claim surprise, cannot claim you were not warned. This is my final gift, my final contribution, my final humanity, warning you, begging you, pleading with you. Do not enter. Do not descend. Do not become like me.